Good evening, everyone. It's Andrew and Leona, and we're here to talk with you about intellectual and developmental disabilities.
The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act (IDEA) defines intellectual disabilities as significantly sub-average general intellectual functioning, existing concurrently with the deficits in adaptive behavior and manifested during the developmental period. Most school systems classify students with intellectual disabilities according to the severity of their condition: mild, IQ of about 50 to 70; moderate, IQ of about 35 to 50; severe, IQ of about 20 to 35; and profound, which is an IQ below 20. FXS is a genetic condition caused by a mutation, a change in the DNA structure in the X chromosome. Signs include a developmental delay, intellectual disability, communication difficulties, anxiety, ADHD, and behaviors like autism. Down syndrome is a genetic disorder which occurs when someone is born with a full or partial extra copy of chromosome 21 in their DNA. Down syndrome is the most common genetic chromosomal disorder and cause of learning disabilities in children. People with Down syndrome will have some level of intellectual and learning disabilities, but this can vary widely. When a child develops at a slower rate compared to the other children of their same age, they may have developmental delay. Although children develop and mature at different rates, sometimes children may not talk, move, or behave in the way that is appropriate for their age. Sometimes this self-corrects, but for some children, their developmental delay may become more significant over time. PWS is quite complex and is caused by an abnormality of genes of chromosome 15. One of the common symptoms of PWS is a constant insatiable hunger, which generally begins at age 2. People with PWS have an urge to eat because their brain will not tell them that they are full, so they are constantly hungry. The symptoms are varied. FASD refers to many conditions that are caused when an unborn fetus is exposed to alcohol. The symptoms can vary, however, may include distinct facial features, deformities of joints, damage to organs such as the heart and the kidneys, slow physical growth, learning difficulties, poor memory and judgment, behavioral problems, and poor social skills. Although there are four main prenatal categories, environmental influences are broad and have been identified as problems during pregnancy, viral or bacterial infections, complications during birth, exposure to toxins such as lead or mercury, complications from illnesses, malnutrition, exposure to alcohol, drugs, trauma, and other identified causes. One of the most commonly used IQ tests to determine if a child has an intellectual disability is the Wechsler Intelligence Scale, or the WISC-4. The WISC-4 consists of the full-scale IQ as well as four composite scores: verbal comprehension, perceptual reasoning, working memory, and processing speed. Educational considerations vary due to the widely spread severity of the disabilities. Mild to moderate students focus on academic skills, while more severe learners learn self-help, community living, and vocational skills. Class-wide peer tutoring, removal of distractions from learning, plain and explicit language from the teacher to the student. The teacher should put skills in context so there's a clear purpose of learning, and lots of positive reinforcement all help students with intellectual disabilities thrive. Some suggestions for parents: take a proactive role in the education of your child, like the IEP process. Develop your child's language skills early by reading to your child. Help to teach short-term memory strategies like repeating information to oneself. Open opportunities to develop social skills and involve your child in activities that will help to build self-esteem.
Screening and identification is very important in early childhood intervention. Early diagnosis of a disability plus special education services can equal better, successful outcomes for the child. IQ tests are very accurate and predictive. There are many types, but the one most commonly used is the WISC, which measures verbal comprehension, perceptual reasoning, working memory, and processing speed. There are issues with IQ tests. Number one, a person's IQ can change from one test to another. Also, all IQ tests are culturally biased. And the younger the child, the less reliable the test results. Finally, IQ tests don't measure a person's ability to function in the world. Assessments of adaptive behaviors is a questionnaire filled out by parents and teachers, and is used to measure a person's ability to perform adaptive skills like communication, daily living skills, socialization, motor skills, and maladaptive behaviors. Psychological, emotional, social, and behavior issues that affect people with intellectual disabilities. Many people with intellectual disabilities have problems with attention, language, memory, motivation, self regulation, and social development. People with intellectual disabilities have memory issues that affect learning. They have problems with their working memory, which makes it hard for them to do cognitive tasks. Problem areas: attention and focus. Attention problems can greatly affect learning, and people with disabilities, especially intellectual disabilities, have problems focusing and staying on task. Almost all persons with intellectual disabilities have problems with speech and language comprehension. These issues vary depending on the cause of a person's disability, so every individual has different speech issues and different areas of need. Motivation is a constant struggle for many students with intellectual disabilities. Because they've experienced a lot of failure, they think that they're not in control of what happens in their lives. So instead of looking internally for motivation, they tend to look for external things to motivate them. Self regulation is an issue with people with intellectual disabilities. Many of them have issues regulating their behavior and emotions due to difficulties with metacognition, which is the awareness to perform tasks, use strategies, and evaluate if their strategies are working or not. Because of issues with speech, attention, motivation, self regulation, and memory, many children with intellectual disabilities struggle to make friends and maintain relationships with peers. Because of these issues, all positive social interactions should be encouraged. This concludes our presentation. Andrew and I thank you so much for listening and learning about intellectual and developmental disabilities.